Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck. Chicky.
Tech wreck. Time to get your tech wreck.
All right, Mickey, it's tech wreck time. What do you have for us today?
So I have Proton, like we talked about before. I mean,
Okay.
Proton is awesome. It's super secure and really well run. Sanjay, I think, appreciates that side of it.
Okay.
That doesn't matter as much to me, frankly. I mean, it's great. I'm not against security.
Sanjay, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it.
I'm security adjacent, but not security opposed. But what I really liked about it is I want a personal domain for my email instead of Gmail in case it ever goes away. It's not going to disappear, but I think more likely, and you guys have covered this before with a few stories, people get banned by mistake. I mean, something could happen and ban my account, and I'm toast. It was actually a conversation with Sanjay that explained this to me. And he kind of laid it out that email is two different things. There's the messages you have, which are important. I have thousands of messages to save, but the address you use is probably more important. So I can get into accounts and I'm like, all right, cool. Why don't I just start using a new address? I'll still have my Gmail for all the messages and slowly accumulate new ones. But if I start using this new address elsewhere and then something happens to Proton or they ban me or whatever, I can move elsewhere. I'm not dead in the water. So
that's right.
It's fantastic. And it's a great service. It's like you have to pay, I think, $3 a month maybe if you want to use a custom domain with it. And so I set up a new email on that. And
So I like that. A couple things though. I looked at Proton a while back and my issue was I use Google Calendar and Proton does not in any way integrate with Google Calendar. So are you going to not have a calendar with this new email?
Correct.
Okay. So the hard part about that too then is that then if you're emailing with somebody and you're like, hey, let's meet, then you have to be like, oh, but invite this other email address.
I hadn't thought about that angle. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Or they'll send. I've had this happen before because I actually have the same problem. I use a 365 email address with my email at my own domain, and I don't have a calendar associated because that's a pain in the butt because they use Google Calendar. And so what I've done is like they've sent a calendar invite to that email, and then I have to like manually create it on my Google Calendar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is also a pain in the butt. So I'm like,
that's fair. I'm not too concerned for two reasons. One, I create most of the events and send them to other people, but also the ones that people send are usually to my work address, which is a separate account already anyhow. So I think it'll be rare, but I hadn't considered that. That's an interesting angle. So but Proton's nice too. When I set it up and said, hey, do you want us to just start grabbing all your Gmail that comes in going forward and put it in here? I'm like, sure. And so it just, I mean, you can set it manually, but if you email me Gmail, it comes into Proton. I didn't load all the old ones. You can, but I've got hundreds of thousands. It would have just been a disaster. So I'm like, but send me the new one. So now I don't even log into my Gmail unless I need to find an old message, which still happens. But it's been good so far. So
okay, that's great.
What do you got?
So I'm going to recommend the app CapCut. So if you need to edit some videos, CapCut is a free, easy tool to do that. It involves like you can use it to create captions for it as well. You can do easy email editing, video editing. You can do like intros and outros. It's got some effects you can use. There's a free version to kind of get you started. And then, of course, there's a pro version. I think it's like $160 for the year, something like that. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But it's a good little program. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on your computer. You can use it on the web. So it's a good little program. Like one of my kids used it for a school project and built out this very long video with it with the free version for a school project. One of my other kids used the premium version to create some social content for me. So it's been a really interesting and good tool so far.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
Give it a shot.